You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob, and you're listening to episode number 357. Thank you for making it this far with us and joining us for today's podcast.
We appreciate it. And if you are traveling with your drone, then you're definitely going to want to listen to the show because we're going to talk about how to travel. If you're on an airplane, we're going to talk about the perception of cases versus backpacks, how you actually are supposed to travel through customs, and whether you're going to get import or export taxes if traveling into other countries. So action-packed podcast.
Absolutely. And very practical for those, particularly those that are going to be traveling.
Definitely. So let's just go ahead and get right into today's podcast. Today's question is brought to you by Legal Flyer. Are you a drone pilot? Are you operating under a Section 333 exemption? Then you may be familiar with Item 27, which requires you to get a property release for every flight over property.
Legal Flyer is an app for iPhone and iPad that helps you create professional property releases in less time than it takes to do a pre-flight check.
You can add your pilot info, you can sign it, hand it to the property owner for their signature. But wait a second. Legal Flyer's advanced integration automatically adds latitude, longitude, and even altitude.
Then add a panorama straight from the app. Everything drops into a single-page PDF you can share with a single tap. It's compliance at light speed. Visit LegalFlyer.com for more information or get it straight from the App Store. Legal Flyer. Property releases for professional drone pilots.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Paul. This is Louis. First, I want to thank you guys for featuring my shot on Instagram on your account. I was the shot of the harbor in Berkeley. So my question is, what are your preferences for traveling with your drone? Checking it, carrying it on in a case or in a backpack. And then also, when you travel to job sites, is it more professional to have it in a case, or is it fine to just show up with a backpack and bust it out like that? I'm going to be doing a lot of flying this summer, so I'd love to bring the drone along to capture some good content. So
Louis, thank you very much. That is a really good question. And, you know, Paul, I like the perspective of the question on what looks professional. I don't think we've been asked that before.
No.
But I like the way he's thinking about making sure he presents himself well when he goes out to shoots and so forth. And so, I mean, I know what I would think, but what do you think when it comes to going out to a site?
I want to know what you think.
I mean, if I'm going to go out to a site, I want to look legit. And to me, I don't want to look like a college student with a backpack.
Yeah.
I want to have...
And that perception is a very real perception.
Yeah, I would think it is. I mean, your case has got all your accessories, and you're going to be able to...
It also dictates how much you can charge. Is the perceived value there or not when you show up with a backpack? Like,
Not
hey
as
guys,
much.
look at my toy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it really does look more like a toy, which isn't fair. But again,
It's just
we mention this often. Perception is reality. And this is no exception to that reality, to that truth. Let's call it a truth.
Well, it is a very true statement. And I've actually noticed people have said to me, you know, I notice a difference on how people treat me when I show up with an Inspire versus a Phantom.
Yeah.
You know, even on set or with your regular clients. So I think professionalism is definitely a perception of what you have. And I hate to say this, but the more cases you have, the more professional you look.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. It can also, there is a two-way streak to this because the more black cases you have when you travel to international countries, the more red flags you wave that say, hey, come search me.
Right.
Hey, come search me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If for no other reason than curiosity, right?
Yeah. So,
Not to mention taxes and so forth.
oh, I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you have a backpack, chances are you won't get taxed as much when you're traveling to Mexico. But if you are traveling on an airplane, there are very new and very significant rules that you should be aware of. Number one, if you're traveling internationally, you have got to be checked in an hour before you board the flight. That is a new one from April. I learned that the hard way. I almost missed my entire trip to Mexico because of that. Albuquerque is a small airport. We don't have these TSA problems that a lot of other places have. I can get in and out of the airport in 15 minutes.
It's pretty fast, yeah.
It's very fast. It's awesome.
Great.
Shout out to everyone who works at the Sunport over there. You guys are awesome. But if you are traveling on an airplane, you cannot check your batteries, period. Now, if you're flying American Airlines, they have on the new ticket counter, they ask the question, do you have any lithium-ion batteries with you in your checked baggage or your carry-on? That question is wrong.
Why?
Because the only issue with carrying batteries is if you check them.
Right.
If you have your batteries in a battery case where each battery is isolated, in fact, TSA says that if these batteries are used for your personal electronic devices, which my drone is my personal electronic device, okay? So if you have those type of batteries on your person and they are isolated from one another so they can't touch each other, it is totally okay to bring your batteries on the airplane. How do I know this? Well, recently I traveled to Mexico. And thanks to GPC, everyone knows I use GPC cases. I got this bad boy. Check that out.
Cool.
This actually, as I'm like holding it with one hand over my head, if you're watching on YouTube right now, this holds 6 Inspire 1 batteries and 6 Phantom batteries. But Phantom 3 batteries, not Phantom 4 batteries. Now, technically, you're not supposed to go through TSA with more than 2 TB48 batteries because they're over 100 watt hours.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how many times TSA has counted whether they're TB47s or 48s.
0.
0 times. But every single time I go through security, in fact, some of the guys even know my name now because they're like, oh, hey, it's the battery case guy. Because every time I get, sir, can you come over here with me? Yeah. Are you going to swab it for explosives? Yes, sir. Can you not touch the case for 5 minutes? No, I won't touch the case. Go ahead, take it. I mean, literally every single time.
Right.
And when I was going through customs coming back into the United States from Mexico in Phoenix, the customs guy said, I said, you know, if you want me to open up my case, it's fine if you want to inspect it. And he's like, no, it's cool. I've seen cases just like that 4 times already today.
Really?
And I was like, really, with batteries like these? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, you dronies fly everywhere. And it was
That's
just
cool.
I thought that was really interesting, but it also confirmed my hack, because a hack is never a hack. Like a life hack until it's confirmed by other people.
Sure.
So yes, you can travel with your batteries. You cannot check them whatsoever. Our intern here, Sam, who actually posted your Instagram picture, also wanted to let us know to say you can't carry on and Inspire no matter what, which is true.
Because it's just too big.
It's just too big.
Yeah.
Now, can you carry on a Phantom with your Phantom batteries in the plane? Yes, you can. You have to have a very specific case to do that. If you need one, go to GPC Cases. Use promo code DroneU15. You'll save 10% on any case you buy. But that answers that question for air travel. This has been a very big deal. Another big deal is if you're traveling to other countries, are there issues with carrying cameras? Yes, there are. In fact, if you go to Mexico, you're only allowed to have 2 cameras. Now, the way that you can get around this is actually if you call the Mexican consulate or embassy saying that you're going down there, you give them a list of the items that you're bringing in. You're not leaving any of them in the country, and you'll have a form that you can take with you when you go through customs to say, hey, look, don't mess with me. I love going to Mexico, but like any country, there's corruption within government officials. And that's not just a Mexico thing. That's all over the world. And I've heard of people saying that they've been picked out of line in Mexico, one of our members, for having a drone, and they were told they couldn't even have it there.
Right.
And we actually had to post the law for them to say, no, drones are legal. The only thing you can't do is fly at night. Pretty much. That's the only rule.
Right.
At least in drones in his class. That being stated, he actually explained it to them that they were cameras, they let him through. But my personal situation is that they were trying to figure out how many cameras I had, and then they try to price out your cameras. And when they price out your cameras, they take 16% of that and charge you an import tax.
Right.
Now, again, you can get out of this import tax if you contact the embassy, tell them that you're bringing cameras in, you're doing something for fun, whatever.
But that import tax, what they're thinking, if you've got more than a certain number, is that you're going to go sell them? Is that what they're thinking?
I think it's a way for them to just get money. I mean,
Sure.
Dude, I mean, when I went through customs, it was the most ambiguous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
No one went through the scanner in Mexico except for me because I had these big cases.
Well,
you know?
and on the one hand, that stands to reason. I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand that. When you've got somebody coming through with all this gear,
Yeah.
you're kind of conspicuous and they're going to look a little harder.
Well, also, it was ambiguous in the sense of, they're like, what cameras do you have? And I was like, well, I've got, like 4 GoPros and I've got 2 drones and a Sony and the amount of tax changed every single time this lady opened her mouth. So, which wasn't a bad thing either. It went up and then it went down and then went up and then went down and then went down again and then down again. So you do have awesome people that will work with you. I don't want to nix those people. But it is very ambiguous, especially if you don't know the rules.
Right.
If you're going to the Bahamas, by the way, I just got an email from the Bahamas with information on how to set up my drone to be Bahama friendly. If you have an ICAO number, that's very helpful, which you normally do get with a Part 47 federal registry. If you register your drone, I've not heard of anyone getting an ICAO number through the online registration process.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. I've just never heard of anyone
Do you
getting
have to
one.
request it
I don't know.
specifically? Maybe that's why?
I don't know. But with Part 47, you do get one. Anyway, that being said, if you're going to the Bahamas, you guys do need to look at import-export rules, what you can bring into the country, what you can't bring in the country. There was a fellow Marriott guy flying into the Bahamas and got all of his equipment taken.
Did he get it back?
I don't know.
Wow.
So
Bummer.
it really depends on what you're doing. And, certain companies have rules, which is really stupid. But, like, for example, Disney has a rule where you can't bring drones onto the cruise ship. But I've seen people bring drones on the cruise ship. And, like, I'm filming a wedding for Disney. I think it's in September. And it's like, they're like, well, you can't bring drones. I'm like, well, I got permission from the Bahama government from here. I'm sorry, all these people override you. Like, thanks. You know what I mean?
All right.
So then the wedding planner finally gave up, and she was like, fine, I'll get the permit that you need. And I was like, why does this have to be so difficult?
Yeah,
People
seriously.
are afraid of change. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, we're still in the middle of that paradigm of fear.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're working through that. Domestically, though, it's probably not nearly as complicated as what you're talking about here.
Not at all.
With all the international stuff.
All you got to do is carry on your batteries. If you're flying with an Inspire 1 or any big drone, you obviously know you want to remove the gimbal or the camera. With the Inspire 1, that would be your X3 or X5. Another thing that I told even our intern do, he's traveling to Chicago here soon, is to put an info card inside. Like you can put it in between, see that? The little space in between the foam and the case itself. Right. So if someone takes your case, including the TSA, and they say, how can you prove that this is yours? You can pull a little card out of there and say, why is my name in here? So
that's a cool idea.
This is something my grandfather actually taught me when I was traveling at a very young age. Also, I have in all these little things to go down, detached cameras, info card, being educated. I can't say enough how important it is to be educated, to know where you're going, import-export law, but also understand, just the rules of the area.
Right.
If you're going to Peru, if you're going to India, don't bring your drone to India. There are places that are not drone friendly, and you really need to be aware of that. And for a lot of the guys that are just like, I'll just bring my drone and pull it out of a backpack wherever I am, that works 95% of the time. But for the other 5% of the time, you could wind up in jail. I had a friend stuck in Bali for like 3 months.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tom Souls from...
Of course, Bali's not a bad place to be.
Unless you're in a
cell.
Awkward. Just saying. Again, I think we covered everything in the question. Traveling with... What is it called? Traveling with batteries and carrying them on. This is also why you see most main drone companies drive to most places.
Right. So, but if you're flying or if you're traveling with one of your Phantoms, say the 4, you'll carry that on? Or are you going to check that as well?
I'm going to carry on the battery no matter what.
Of course. But what about the drone?
I'd probably carry it on just because I haven't gotten a case for my Phantom 4 yet, and I could just throw it in a backpack.
And you're going to use a GPC case. What style of case?
What do you mean?
There's different, like there's a travel case. Aren't there different?
Oh, you're talking about for the Inspire, though.
That's just for the Inspire?
Yeah, so the Inspire has a landing mode case,
That's what I'm
a
talking
travel
about.
mode case. Never buy a travel mode case.
Why?
It's just a bear to take the thing in and out every single time. You add another minute or two of startup time to every single job.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just a
So it's
convenience
less practical.
thing. Call me lazy. It's more practical.
Well, no. I mean, if there's a more efficient way to do it, and part of that process includes the case that you use, that makes a lot of sense. It's not
Yeah.
lazy.
No. Well, I mean, and that's another great business question asking, how can I do this the most efficiently?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Okay.
anyway, I think that actually answers all of our questions. So
Yeah, if not, Lewis, reach back out to us and let us know if we missed something or if something that we've said has just generated more questions. AskDroneU.com.
definitely AskDroneU.com. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us today. I really hope this podcast helped clear up the whole travel debacle for you.
And helps you avoid the debacle.
Yeah, and dear
Actually.
American Airlines, write an email to all of your nice customers about how you changed the rules last minute, because it really did screw with a lot of people. Anyway, communication is clear. It's key. Excuse me. Clarity is key
Clear
too.
communication
Clear
is key.
communicate. Yeah, exactly.
There you go. That's what
But
you're
you
trying to
know,
say.
like it's just like a relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Good relationship has good communications.
No doubt.
You wonder why a lot of companies have this horrible customer service record.
Yeah,
Got to communicate, guys. It's really simple.
that's right.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.
We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We reject indecision, confusion, and vanity, for they work against the community. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.